Hey, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Yes, it is Thursday night, and last I looked at that great football game tonight, it was 9-6 Broncos. Horrible. Anyway, we're going to talk some Major League Baseball playoffs starting tomorrow, and we have my guests tonight are playing each other in the first round, so I don't know if it's going to be a lot of bickering or not, but we are going to talk about the matchups and the pitching matchups for tomorrow. And let's bring in our first guest. We're going to go with Ryan. What's up, man?
What's up? Go Phils.
Oh, right? You got your Philly jersey on, I see.
Doc Halladay.
He
pitched our last playoff game. I wish he was here to pitch this one, too, because God help us.
Yes, sir. Great pitcher.
Fantastic.
Great pitcher. All right. And next, we're going to bring in the Cardinal kid. This guy.
God damn it.
Hello, everybody.
Welcome, free, baby.
Welcome to Sports Talking With It. I am your host, Logan Stone, the sophisticated one today.
Okay, Sherlock.
All right.
I was talking to Adam the other day, and I said, I don't think your show is classy enough, so I wanted to bring some class to this one. I was sipping a little bit of sherry.
I didn't bring out the pipe tonight.
Dude, you should have wore one of those shirts that has the tuxedo on it. That would have been so sweet.
No, I'm kidding. Baseball has no class. We fuck everything up.
That's true.
In the fun way.
No, in Rob Manfred's way, we fuck everything up.
Okay, yes. Oh, yeah, I forgot who's commissioner.
We think we should go back to wearing suits and ties to the games?
Oh, did I go on this rant No, I didn't go on this rant with you. So there's a podcast. Oh, yeah. No, I did talk to you about this, Adam. The Saggy Nuts podcast.
I did. I didn't get a response from them again after I responded back.
They're actually called the Sports Nuts podcast. And
okay. I was like, wow, what a name.
They were complaining about Blue being in baseball, and I about had an aneurysm. I was texting Josh. I was like, oh my gosh, these idiots, they're complaining about Blue in baseball, and they're like, baseball lost its way. I'm like, back in your day, whenever they celebrated a no-hitter, they would shake each other's hands and then walk off into the sunset. And so I hate the Saggy Nuts podcast. If you're watching, fuck you. Die of AIDS, you wrinkly nuts podcast.
I did invite him on to do the 2000 to 2009, which we still need to do, guys. I am still working on my lineup.
My whole lineup is Albert Pujols and Miguel Cabrera.
Right. Oh, that's it? Is that what we're doing?
I mean, who else do you need?
Yeah, right.
I mean, you don't really need anyone.
Chris Carpenter.
Don't you dare say that name.
I'm sorry.
We're not talking about that name until Monday.
Wait
till the series is over.
Monday.
2 words that trigger me together are Chris and Carpenter.
I think he's coming out of retirement.
I was introed myself, man. I wish Roy Halladay was here to pitch this game.
Oh, man, that would have been so cool.
That is easily the best game I have ever seen in my entire life. I mean, yes, obviously it was fun to watch the Halladay no-hitter in the playoffs, but as a baseball fan, nobody can hate that game.
Yeah, I was thinking about that game today, especially when I was texting you, and I was like, oh, man, I remember thinking, oh, my gosh, Roy Halladay is due for a no-hitter. And I'm like, they're going to win. And I had been one of the, back in August of that year, I was like, oh, the Cardinals are going to make it to the playoffs. They're going to come back. And everyone was like, no, you're an idiot, Logan. You know nothing. Shut the fuck up. Eat your blueberries. Go sit in your corner. And I was like, okay. And yes, daddy. And anyways, they ended up making it to the playoffs. And Roy Halladay basically did throw a no-hitter on that.
If you cut out the
2-hitter. Yeah. Oh my gosh. But yeah, Chris Carpenter. And the funny thing is that they were best friends too.
Yeah, because they're both in the Blue Jays organization growing up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. Reminiscing of days of making the playoffs.
Yeah. So, anyways,
I mean,
R.I.P. Roy
my recent
Halladay.
memory as a
Yeah.
Pirate fan is
Rest in
Cueto
peace,
dropping
his
the
soul.
ball.
Which one?
Cueto dropping the ball. What was that 2010, 11 when he played for the Reds?
Oh, I do
Yeah,
remember that.
I know what you're talking about.
And
Okay,
then,
that does sound familiar.
I know what happened in 2010 with the Reds.
Was that Charlie Manuel who was manager of the Phillies that year? And that was
Yeah.
his last year, right?
2012 was his last year.
Okay. For some reason, I was thinking that was like they made a big deal about the Phillies that year. But
Well, because we
anyways.
won 102 games and then we had we were up 2-0, had game 3 in the bag, and then that late rally that the Cardinals pulled out of their ass game
Oh
3.
no, I was talking about 2010.
Yeah, no, Charlie Manuel was still the manager in 2011 as well. But
That's right. Man. Okay. Anyways,
so there's a lot of history in this first round matchup.
not really, just the one time, but it was a great series. I mean,
yeah.
Roy Halladay, I mean, 2 games basically. Game 1, he was and it basically was the same game basically, except Carpenter had a worse game than Halladay did, if I remember. I think he gave up 2 runs, maybe 3.
He gave up because Howard hit the home run in game 2, I think. So I think
Yeah.
Carpenter gave up like a solo shot and then another run somewhere.
Yeah. So I mean, but it was basically the same thing because I think Jay got the triple,
And then Schumacher
and then
got the
Schumacher
double.
got the double on that in game 1, and that was the only score. And then game 2, I think the Cardinals ended up they won that game.
The Phillies were up 2-0 in the series, and then they were
Were they?
up in game 3, and then the Cardinals had a massive
Oh yeah,
comeback.
the rally squirrel
Yeah.
against Roy Oswalt.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's the only reason why the Cardinals won the World Series that year.
You know what? I'm not so mad now that I wasn't mad that the Cardinals won the World Series. Then I could just say, hey, we went toe to toe with like the World Series winners. We're definitely the second best team in the league.
Cardinals had the Cardinals had no business being in the playoffs that year. The only reason was the Braves had the worst meltdown in the history of any other team had ever had. Maybe next to the Mets now.
The Mets melt down every year, though. It's very typical of them.
Yeah, but this was supposed to be different. Like, I mean, good Lord, they had the best record for about 3 months,
Mm-hmm.
and then it seemed like no one was going to catch them. And then the Braves come in, and then they start fucking up. And, oh my gosh, it just turned into a shit show.
Speaking of Scherzer, real quick. Is this going to be the game to watch? Is this going to be the game for pitching matchup? Or is Max Scherzer going to pitch like his last outing and get shelled?
I
think
on
a horrible. He's not on a good way into the playoffs right now.
Scherzer in the playoffs is different, though. He finds a way. I don't know if that's going to be the matchup. No. I want to say McClanahan versus Bieber.
Is definitely the best pitching matchup in game 1.
Yeah.
This one right here, then?
Yes.
Yeah.
You've got the Cy Young Award winner from 2 years ago versus the Cy Young runner-up this year.
Winner.
I'm looking forward to this matchup. Obviously I'm wearing my Indians shirt. I know Guardians, but I don't have one yet, so I can only wear what I have to support the Cleveland Indians today.
Are we surprised that there's like some people backing the Guardians? They're like, there's people actually thinking the Guardians can pull this one out.
I'm not surprised at all, and I was going to touch on this a little bit later, but really the playoffs, the only thing that matters is like how hot were you coming in? Like it's getting hot at the right time, and the Guardians just caught fire in the second half. The Twins made all those moves at the deadline, hoping to gain some space, and then the Guardians didn't really do anything, and they just played better baseball. I mean, outside of Plesac, who's had a disastrous year.
That's disappointing.
Yeah, they were the same team. Bieber did his thing this year, and I'm not surprised at all. I don't think that if I had to predict right now, I think that the Rays win it because the Rays just do magical things with a $33.84 payroll.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, that's
but
Well, what is that? What's Almorera? Rand? I can never pronounce last names. Well, the one guy that bats lead off for the Rays, the Alomar.
Roberto. No, not Roberto.
you talking about Randy
Alomar.
Rosarena?
That's him. Yes,
Oh.
he is 0 for 6 against Bieber.
I think a
Lifetime
lot of people are
this year.
0 for 6 against
Yeah, right.
Bieber.
But I think that's going to change.
You know, Rosarena was a Cardinal, right?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So here's a story. 2019. It's about July. The Cardinals are sucking, and we start hearing about this guy Randy Rosarena in the minors, and in triple A, he's got like on the year he's got a 408 batting average, like a 500 on base, like ridiculous numbers. He's got like 20 home runs in July or something. Not in July, but like through July. And I'm like, oh, well, cool. This guy's going to come up and he's going to be really helpful for us. He comes up and he's good. He's not like what he was in AAA. But I was like, you know what? I'm really excited about this Randy Rosarena. We don't really have an outfield. And then like 3 months later, the news come out, oh, we're trading Randy Rosarena to the Rays for Matthew Liberatore. And I'm like, oh, okay. But the rumor was that the Cardinals were getting Matthew Liberatore because they wanted to create a better package in order to get Nolan Arenado. And then it turned out that the Rockies decided to have the biggest brain fart in history and give Nolan Arenado up for a bag of raisins.
The Rockies are really terrible at trading.
Yeah.
Clanahan's 0-3 in his last 3 starts with a 7.07 ERA and only 7 strikeouts.
Yeah.
Is that bothersome, or is this playoffs?
I'd be a little bit concerned if I were the Rays for game 1. I mean, ultimately, he is the best pitcher in that rotation, and, you know, the whole season means more than 3 starts. But truthfully, I would pick Cleveland to win game 1 anyway. I told you before we went live, Shane Bieber's my favorite non-Philadelphia Phillies pitcher in the league right now. So
he's a great player.
The Bieber jersey, I'm ready. I will not be wearing it to work tomorrow. I work in a pizza shop. No.
The Rays and the Guardians actually played 2 weeks ago in a 3-game set, and the Guardians actually won that series 2-3. So that's interesting.
Where was the series at? In Cleveland or Tampa?
It was in Cleveland.
I like the fact that the higher seed just gets 3 home games. Like, there's no need to travel in between or whatever the fuck. Like, to just keep.
No need to drag out an off day after each game. That's stupid. But yeah.
No, Bieber is on fire his last 3 games. He's 2-0 with 3.38 ERA and 14 strikeouts. So
yeah.
But I mean, this dude's always on fire.
But
but then again, remember during the strike season or the COVID season where he was lights out, and then he played that first playoff game and got absolutely shelled.
Yeah.
I mean, he wasn't gonna, those trends tend to break eventually anyway. He wasn't going to pitch to a 1.5 ERA for the rest of his career.
Yeah.
Yes,
The thing about the Guardians, though, to me is like they're a scrappy team. They find ways to win no matter what. They don't do they play like they don't have the long ball. They don't rely on that a lot. They play small ball. They'll move runners. They have speed. They play pretty good defense. Not great, but pretty good. And then they have a fire in them. They're something else. And Stephen Kwan, I think he's going to be a big part of this run that they're going to make.
Francona's the best manager possible for that team, in my opinion. I think he's done wonders with that roster. Because, I mean, you looked at it preseason, with the selling of Lindor, you were like, oh, pack the Indians in, they're not going to do it, or the Guardians in, they're not going to do anything. And there you go.
Ernie Clement.
And then they didn't do anything in the this offseason. And then they signed Jose Ramirez to an extension. And then, oh my gosh, then Like it seemed like everything was okay for that team after that.
I was surprised by that extension, specifically after they dealt Lindor. I was like, okay, are they signing him into extension to make him more favorable? Like,
Yeah.
I was just confused by that.
Andres Jimenez is somebody that you also need to look at, and Tristan McKenzie. Tristan McKenzie is having a really good year for the.
He had a great
Guardians.
start. I think he went 8 shutout innings or something like that.
I think Ahmad Rosario stepped in really well as a shortstop for them. I think he filled the void very nicely. I mean, you make the playoffs, it makes you forget about Lindor a little bit easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially when you see how much he got paid to suck last year for the Mets.
Oh, he was awful in his first year in the Mets. Good God.
It's just getting probably used to playing in New York. It's a whole different atmosphere than it is in Cleveland. Cleveland's really relaxed, They hound you, but they don't hound you like New York does. New York's a whole different breed of playing sports for them.
Yeah.
I mean, how are they in Philly? Are they bad in Philly, Bri?
Yes. Yeah.
And the media bad in St. Louis?
No, they're a little bit too forgiving, in my opinion.
That's actually surprising to me, considering how big of a city, like baseball city, St. Louis is. You'd think the media would be up their ass a little more. Pardon my French.
Yeah,
you're good.
I don't know. It seems like I don't know. It's weird, but
Logan, real quick,
tell
people what you got to witness the other day.
Oh yeah, I thought you were going to mention this. So Monday night, I don't know even how I started, but I was just looking I was like, oh, you know what? I should see how much tickets for Tuesday's game, Rangers versus Yankees, are going to go. And I was like, it was $2, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is super cheap. So I was looking at tickets, and I finally got tickets. I was like, I have to go this. I have a feeling Aaron Judge is going to hit number 62. I was going to go to the left field side and saw that tickets were $11,000, and I was like, I'm fine. Not today.
I'll watch it from the couch.
Yeah, right. So, but anyways, I got behind. I got on the first base side. I didn't want to go into the outfield. Anyways, but right as I sat down, because I was running late, because I live about an hour and a half away from the ballpark, and right as I sit down, Aaron Judge is up 1-1 count, swings, pops up, and I'm thinking, oh, this is a fly ball. I think it's gonna kick foul though. And I thought it would be so hilarious if it hit the foul pole. And I thought, oh my gosh, it's straightening out. It's gonna actually hit. And as it's going down, I'm like, oh my gosh. And then someone jumps down off the fence. I'm like, what the heck? So I get distracted by that for a second. So I don't know where the ball actually went. And then I get distracted by Judge, and he's running around a whole bunch. I thought it was Yankee Stadium for a second there, because, I mean, there were so many Yankee fans. They were giving them standing ovation. I think a lot of the Ranger fans at the game, and this is why I hate Ranger fans more than Cardinal fans, honestly, is because they just started booing Aaron Judge as he was going around, and I don't think they understood why it was significant and why everyone was giving him a standing ovation. It was weird.
So they're not, it's the end of the season. Really not sure baseball fans go to these things.
I'm surprised the Rangers have fans.
Well, they don't really. There's a couple of fans.
Dude, how can,
some fans just go and they're just wanting a good time. I don't famously say, but I like to say, I like the Rangers when they suck, because that's when you see the true fans. They may not know anything, but anyways. But it was a weird moment for me. Like I was in such shock that it happened in his first at bat, honestly. And second, it was just so weird. It was like, oh my gosh, because I started thinking about 1998, because I grew up hearing about the stories of the great Mark McGwire hitting 62, and I have Joe Buck in my ear like every time I think about it, it doesn't have enough gone. Number 62, touch 'em all, Mark. You're the new single season home run king. And it was just weird to see that. And it really didn't hit me until I was riding home. I was like, oh my gosh, I really just got to, I get to sit down one day and tell someone who doesn't want to hear the story about how I I witnessed Aaron Judge hit number 62. And it was like whenever he went out into the field, like all right field and left field, the bleachers were Yankee fans. And as he's going out, he gets a standing ovation. And oh my gosh. And then they started cheering MVP. It was so cool. He got another standing ovation, but then the Rangers started booing in his second at bat. And then he got taken out in I want to say the fourth inning. But Garrett Cole got another record. Didn't get any recognition from any of the fans. I asked the Yankee fans what was going on, and they were like, "I don't know." But
they were there for one reason and one reason only.
Yeah, but Garrett Cole got the single season franchise record for strikeouts. With
pretty accomplishable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
considering all the pitchers in Yankees history, that's pretty.
Yeah, I was surprised because I had never heard of the guy, but I thought it would have been like Whitey Ford, maybe even CeCe.
Who was it?
I don't know. I forgot the guy's name.
Yeah, Whitey Ford was the first name that came to mind.
Yeah.
Or Messina, maybe.
I was thinking Mike Messina.
Yeah. But yeah, it was really
today was also the bug spray incident, right, in Cleveland? Today or yesterday? Whenever they thought he was putting some kind of illegal substance on him, and he was just spraying himself up with bug spray.
Messina?
Yeah. It was 2006, I think I saw.
I don't remember that. But anyways, that was
I shared it to Twitter or Facebook, one of the two. But yeah, I thought that was funny. The umpire was just spraying himself off. I guess it was like all the bugs were just coming out to play. Anyway, so you had fun, Logan. It was fun?
Yeah.
Were you down by you said first base side, were you down low or up high?
I was in the middle, second section, so it was about $56. And so I was like, cool.
Watching Aaron Judge's mom on that hit was something else. Like, she thought it wasn't going to make it either. You could tell by her face, like she was just sitting there, like, and then it went over, and like Roger Maris's son was there, and he came over and gave her a hug, and it was a memorable moment.
Yeah, and just to clarify, I think there should be the thing that Aaron Judge did was like really incredible, and the fact that he hasn't done it. He didn't do it on steroids is really impressive. And I think there should be something said about that. Like I know everyone wants to say, oh, Barry Bonds has the record. And I don't know why people are getting excited about Judge hitting 62. You don't be coy and don't be an idiot and don't be a dick.
It's still a record and he's still going to be in the books.
Yeah. Like, I think, they made a big deal about Roger Maris in 1961 saying like, because Babe Ruth only had 154 games, I think, whenever he hit 59, and Roger Maris had 162. That was the first year that they expanded to 162 games. And so they had an asterisk next to Roger Maris's record for the longest time. And then everyone forgot about that. And then obviously now we had the 73 by Bonds and McGuire, and that should have an asterisk next to it. I think Judge should get a lot of respect, more respect than he's getting now for what he did. Because 62 is definitely hard. Hitting one is hard.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are like, oh, anyways. So that was sad to see.
I like to see how many people that say it's hard can even do it during batting practice.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of people making up stupid things. They were saying Barry Bonds never tested positive for steroids. And I was like,
We never
but he's
did.
still.
People just say the most ludicrous stuff on the internet, dude.
Yeah.
Like, get a fucking life, man.
Yeah, and another thing was,
But he never did positive though.
No, because they weren't testing. I don't think.
No, because
until
were
Bud
testing.
Selig's a piece of shit, and he didn't want him to test.
Yeah, and another guy said, what was it? Oh, that because David Cohn once said that in Cal Ripken Jr.'s last season, he threw just fastballs at Cal Ripken because he liked him, and so by that extension, all the pitchers got together and were throwing cookies down the middle for Aaron Judge for all 62. I'm like, yeah, they don't care about their own stats and they don't care about winning games.
These guys get paid to do well. Like, why would what?
Yeah. So there's no curing stupid, unfortunately. So there was that.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you still got to see history, and that's cool as fuck.
Yeah.
So that's what I wanted to hear the story. I wanted to hear how it happened,
Yes.
Real quick,
I
too,
am a
did you like the stadium?
It's okay. It's not the greatest. There's nothing really there. It's food and it's there. It's nothing special. It's not PNC. It's not Busch Stadium. It's not Yankee Stadium. It's nothing. There's nothing. No special food. That there's not like a big hot dog or anything. There's just it's just there. So it's a fine stadium.
All right.
Yeah, I don't think I've been to the new Texas Stadium. I went to the old one though.
Yeah, the old one. I really like the old one.
Yeah,
I think the old one was really fun. I used to hit bombs when I was a kid in that old wiffle ball thing that they had, and I hit it like 3 stories up, and I whacked a window, and someone jumped out of the window, or not jumped out of the window, but walked onto the porch, and they were like, "What the hell?" And then they saw it was me, and they're like, "Oh, good job!" And I was like, "Oh, yeah, thanks." Anyways,
that's cool. It was a wiffle ball. It was that's cool. A little wiffle ball thing.
Yeah, I didn't know how much power I had. Anyways,
damn, that 62 home runs could have easily been you, Logan.
Yeah, I know, right? If only I didn't snap my leg off in high school.
If you didn't tear your arachnophobia, man, you were going to the league, dude.
My arachnophobia. But yeah, it was the only time my dad was ever proud of me was whenever I hit those home runs in wiffle ball.
Yeah, that's when he came back from the store.
He's like, "Oh, good job. No, you're gonna make it to the majors." And I was like, "Yeah. Well, maybe I don't want to play baseball." "Oh, fuck it, I'm out." No.
Damn, I think we're out of milk.
Yeah, right. Go back to your corner, Logan. Go shit in a bucket.
All right, so in the first round, you're taking Tampa Bay, Rye?
Yeah, I'm gonna lean Tampa, but honestly, Cleveland wouldn't surprise me in the slightest.
Logan, what you got?
I want to go. I hate Tampa Bay so much. I hate them. I love analytics. I base a lot of what I do analytically.
I do too, because when they took Blake Snell on, I was so happy.
Yeah, that was a real kick in the balls that Ash deserved. Absolutely deserved it.
Yeah, they do stupid things with their analytics during the postseason. They wear their pitchers out for no reason when they don't need to, and it comes back and bites them in the butt. But I'm hoping Cleveland comes in. It's not like the Rays fan base is going to be overwhelming, too overwhelming for the Cleveland Guardians. I think it's going to be effective in another AL thing, but I'm going to go with Cleveland. I think they got something about them. I don't think they're going to go far, but I think they can beat the Rays.
I'm going Cleveland too.
My theory on it is either way, like I would like to see if one of these teams makes it to the World Series, like I wouldn't mind either one of them winning it. Obviously, unless it was against the Phillies, then I would really mind. But
yeah, right. Phillies or Rays World Series again matchup.
God, dude. I mean, it was fun for me, but as a baseball fan, that was not a good World Series.
No. Get Joe Madden back with his bleach blonde hair.
And Joe Blanton out here hitting dingers into the third row.
Oh gosh, Joe Blanton. Forget about him. I think it goes 3 though. I think it's going to be a tight series.
Yeah. Teams are built very similarly, not a lot of offense to go around, but they pitch well.
The only way I don't see it going 3 is if Cleveland wins the first game and the second game. Then I think it's over.
Oh, dude, big brain energy right there, man. Whew. Yeah, if Cleveland wins the first game and they win the second game, there's no shot that Tampa can beat them.
I love how you thought I was serious for a second there. You're like, are you that stupid?
No, it took me like half a second to register what you were talking about, and I was like, oh.
I think it's weird that there's no home game for one team.
Well, the next series that we're going to talk about, I'm sure, is where it really matters.
Yeah. This one is.
We're talking about that one in Toronto.
Yeah.
So who from the Mariners can't go?
I think all of them can go.
Okay, then this makes my pick easy.
Really?
Oh,
See,
yeah.
I think the fan base in Toronto is going to. I'm sorry.
Who's not shot up on the Mariners?
I think they're all good.
If they're all good, I'm taking the Mariners in 3. I think they fit the bill of getting hot at the right time type of deal. And truthfully, I don't think Toronto would even be in the playoffs if they weren't playing incomplete teams at home for a majority of the season. So, but if Seattle's got their full roster, then that's not the case here.
I think the only thing that's going to hurt, this is the biggest thing for me, and this is kind of what kind of took me off the fence was Rogers Center during the playoffs is a whole nother breed of baseball.
That's true. It does get rocking in there.
It's a closed stadium, and I don't think there are very few fan bases during the playoffs that I like that scare me. The Blue Jays playoffs are like they're really. I mean, they affect everything.
They seat close to 50,000 too, don't they? They have probably one of, if not the largest capacity stadiums in the baseball.
Yeah, it's a huge stadium. Let's see.
Yeah, I guess I have
53,500.
Yeah,
but I think that's going to affect the Mariners in a huge way. I think the Mariners are so young. And not a lot of them. I think the only one who has been to the playoffs is Carlos Santana, and Robbie Ray, I think. But I don't think there's enough playoff experienced players
on the Steckenrider.
Huh?
Huh?
What?
Is that who you're referring to, Steckenrider, who didn't get to go the first time? That looks to be the only
I wasn't sure. I mean,
that looks to be the only unvaccinated player on the Mariners.
The only team that, like, I know the players that are unvaxxed are the Phillies. Like, I didn't really pay attention too much to who was going, who was. I know Houston was like, that's going to be huge if Toronto wins because Houston's got like 8 guys that can't go.
City, they had 10 guys, and then Whit Merrifield got vaccinated right when he got traded. But I think the Mariners' inexperience in the playoffs is going to hurt them, and I think the Blue Jays are going to win in 2 actually because of it. They don't.
Yeah,
they don't specifically wow me.
Wait a minute. Report: MLB players need no longer be vaccinated to enter Toronto for postseason.
Oh yeah, they were trying to do something with the playoffs. I forgot a couple months ago.
See, I don't know that I like that, man. Because like I said, I think a large reason why Toronto made it to the playoffs was they were playing incomplete teams at home all year, and now all of a sudden, like, it doesn't matter anymore. Like.
Well, I think it also had helped them that the Central pretty much sucked, and the West was only one team really
Yeah, that's true.
about, and there were three teams that could make it to the wild card. So 3 teams, right? Yeah. And they had a pretty good team. I mean, they weren't firing all cylinders, but they were. I mean, they had a good team. They have a good rotation. I mean, Alek Manoah is probably the best pitcher not named Justin Verlander, honestly, right now
Yeah.
in the AL at least.
Well, I mean, Valdez, did he ever actually
Franco
go through? Did he ever go through the full season where not having a quality start?
I think he had ended with 24. So
It's still pretty damn good.
yeah, 24 in a row.
Between them two and McCullers, man, they're going to be so hard to beat.
They are. Those guys are really
And
good.
Verlander's been doing this for a million years anyway, so.
Yeah, and he wants another World Series.
So who we taking?
I'll go Seattle in 3, but Logan makes a good point about the playoff experience. That stuff really does matter.
Yeah, I think not that I think that the Blue Jays are the better team. I think they're just going to have a big handicap going into that series, and so I think it's going to be Blue Jays in 2, honestly. But that's going to – I kind of hope that this is going to be a good game, though. Luis Castillo versus Alek Manoah. I hope that's going to be a great game.
I think so far all day one pitching staff looks pretty stacked.
Yeah.
I'm taking Seattle. I just think they're playing good ball.
Yeah, they are. I would love for Seattle. They've been my boys. So, and Julio Rodriguez, I love him.
J-Rod, baby.
Yeah. Eugenio Suarez, he's been good. He
was one of the most underrated players for years.
Yeah. Ty France is another one of the most underrated players. Great first baseman. Jay Crawford. I mean, there's a lot of really good guys on that team. And that rotation is a very sneaky hot team. Luis Castillo, Robbie Ray, Logan Gilbert. I mean, and who's the fourth guy whose name escapes me at the moment? But anyways, I hope I'm wrong about the Mariners.
So
Jake
Logan, who you like?
I have the Blue Jays in 2.
You said Mariners, Adam? How many games?
I like them to sweep this. I don't know why. I just feel it.
Kyle Lewis, very underrated. I talked about him at the beginning of the year, the season. Josh and I did an underrated draft, and I had him because he was Rookie of the Year in 2020, and no one had heard of him, like even during the season. But he had one of the sneaky hot seasons. This season, he's been battling a lot of injuries, but
Kyle Lewis, the outfielder,
he's a really
right?
good guy.
Ryan, you like them in 2. Logan, you like Tampa?
No, I like Seattle in 3.
Okay. Logan, you like Blue Jays in what?
2.
All right, so me and you are going with sweeps on the other end, and Ryan's going 3 for Seattle.
Yeah.
I mean, really, the only series you can't convince me is going to be 3 games. Might be the next one we're talking about. I don't know. It's the Mets Padres one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we'll save your rival for last. Of course, I was.
There's apparently an interesting development going on with that series, the Mets and Padres series. Apparently, Jacob deGrom is not going to be pitching unless it's absolutely necessary.
Mm-hmm.
Which I feel like in a wild card playoff series, every game is absolutely necessary.
Yeah, especially if they go down 0-1.
So I guess he's either doing game 2 or game 3 because I wouldn't want Cookie Carrasco pitching in game 2.
God, I remember when he was a Phillies prospect, man.
Real quick, Andrew popped in and said, "Let's go Guardians."
They're hot at the right time. Talk to their traveling director of traveling.
I'm hoping he jumps in. He does do the talking sports by the lake for us. So
Oh,
he is at work, I believe, right now though. So he
See,
might
like
jump in. Who knows?
the AL and the NL are two tales of like very different like stories. I mean, if you leave out the Braves and the Dodgers, like the teams playing in the first round in the NL, none of them wanted to be there. They were all pathetic in September. It was embarrassing.
well, I kind of attribute the Cardinals September to like resting.
They clinched so early,
Yeah.
like they had such a big lead. Like they didn't play in any high stress games really because they knew that they kind of had the division on lockdown. So that probably has a lot to do with it too. But I mean, the other three, like
Yeah.
the Mets met, and then the
Don't
Phillies
watch
could
the
have
Mets.
the Phillies could have easily been the number 5 seed. I'm thankful they weren't because I hate when they play the Mets. But
Yeah. Well, even the Braves got a little bit complacent.
Well,
towards the
that
end
made
there.
it more wilder for you having an in division matchup for the playoff round one.
It was
No,
wild in a
I-
bad way.
I probably wouldn't have watched it in all honesty, and that's a joke, obviously. But the Phillies were 5-14 against the Mets this year. They own so much acreage in them mentally. It's a joke. I would have expected the Phillies to get swept right out of the playoffs.
I don't know the weather. I know it's getting a little warm. I kind of like
Which one are we on?
Mets Padres.
Mets Padres.
Lower right corner.
The thing is, the Padres have been playing pretty good the last 2 weeks. Juan Soto has figured it out. He's been playing really well. Yu Darvish has come back, and he's obviously the ace of the team. And Josh Hader's even figured it out lately. There's a
Playoff Darvish concerns me though. He just worries me. That dude can be so up and so down.
Yeah. But luckily, like Bob Melvin, he's kind of a good mixture of analytics and old school. One of my favorite managers, honestly. But I think the Padres are getting hot at the right time, whereas the Mets have been sliding. I think the Mets losing the division is hurting them so much worse than I think we even think. And I think it's going to bite them in the butt. And I think the Padres are going to take it in 3.
That's what I was saying. I think it's the Padres in 2. I don't think it's really that
Really,
close.
2?
Yeah, I mean the Mets. They did exactly what they usually do every September, and it's going to continue. They have, old momentum, and we talk about teams playing well going into the playoffs. They don't fit that bill at all. They are by far the worst playing team coming into the playoffs by a substantial margin. Nothing going for them right now. And to face Yu Darvish if he's on his game, and probably Joe Musgrove, I'm assuming, is going to go game 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would imagine Musgrove game 2. I didn't see any further matchups. I don't know if MLB has it completely updated or not. Like, you have to pick per day.
Well, if you think about it, like if the Mets win game 1 under Scherzer, and then they lose game 2, or if they lost game 1 and then won game 2 under DeGrom, you have to be thinking that Scherzer goes on short days rest for game 3 because, yeah, you have Cookie Carrasco, you have some of the other guys, but
Carrasco is pretty good in the playoffs, so.
Is he? But do you trust him enough, though? I don't know if I trust him. There's not really a 3, 4, 5 guy that I trust over Scherzer or DeGrom. Noah Syndergaard. Oh wait, they got rid of him.
Yeah, he's in our bullpen now.
I was gonna say he plays for the Phillies, right?
But I think this is the Padres in 2. I think they make quick work of the Mets here. The Mets are playing so horribly right now, truthfully, and
that would fit in so much better for the NL, right? Having the Dodgers and the Padres.
You could potentially get divisional matchups in the division round if the Padres and the Phillies win.
Would that make it more interesting for the second round?
I'm sure that the MLB would advertise it that way, but truthfully, I think just whichever teams are playing better would be the better matchups. I mean,
I wish the Mets were better because I would want. I mean, Mets versus Dodgers 3 months ago was primetime baseball.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's like it looks like any team coming out of that series against the Dodgers is going to be railroaded.
Yeah, it looks like you can pen the Dodgers into the CS again.
Yeah.
All right, for game 2 so far, Cleveland has not announced a starter. Tyler Glasnow's been named for the Rays.
He just came back, didn't he?
Robbie Ray has been named
2
the
weeks
starter. And no starter for Toronto for game 2 yet.
It's got to be Gossman.
Blake Snell will be starting for the Padres in game 2 and to be determined for the
Mets.
Is Musgrove hurt?
And then we'll get to the second game matchup of the rival in the room right now later.
I think he might have pitched on Monday or Tuesday.
Yeah.
Because Musgrove is their number 2 guy.
Mm-hmm.
What was that, Adam?
I kind of like the Mets. I don't know why.
I mean, yeah, it's kind of
it's a toss-up. It really is, in my eyes. But I do like the San Diego-LA matchup for the second round.
If you exclude the entire month of September, I would have told you the Mets probably in 2, just because the Padres were kind of just hanging around. But I mean, the Mets lost everything that they had going for them.
Yeah, the Mets lost a lot of steam, and I think another thing they're probably thinking of it is the Mets curse of just falling completely apart.
My memory serves me right. Diaz is not a good closer in the playoffs either.
I don't even remember him.
I'm going Padres.
You know what?
I
he spent his entire career in Seattle before this, so he was never even in the playoffs.
The thing about the Padres and the Dodgers playing each other in the DS is we've seen this series like 15 times this year, and the Dodgers just pound the Padres like mercilessly. They always say it's like big brother beating up little brother.
People really had high hopes for the Padres this year. I was one of them, and they did not close the gap between them and the Dodgers at all.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, how much losing Tatis hurt?
Yeah, it hurt them a lot, but they kind of rallied behind it, honestly. I mean, it hurt them for a couple weeks, but then Manny Machado has honestly taken over that team and been like, hey, fuck Tatis. We are a good team without him.
I really don't think that those two like each other, and more so specifically, Machado doesn't like Tatis. I know he talks to him like a leader and kind of, is the leader of that clubhouse. But man, it sounds like the San Diego Padres are just tired of his shit. Like you saw all the tweets from the teammates and everybody saying stuff in the post-game presser
after
Hope he
grows up.
Suspended. Yeah, people were not, like, the players in the locker room were not happy.
No.
Right.
Well, no, yeah, of course not. I mean, why is he taking PEDs when he's injured? And he was so close to coming back. It was stupid.
Or why were you, carelessly riding your bike and then you got yourself hurt so you couldn't play for a month,
Twice.
Yeah.
Right. Logan, who you taking?
I got Padres in 3. However, it's going to be worrying if the Padres for the Mets, it's going to be worrying if they lose the first game. Because then I think that's a necessity for the Mets to win game 1. More than any other team, I think.
Scherzer we get. If we get that last outing Scherzer, I think these Mets are in real trouble.
Well, that's exactly why, because he's really their only hope, and they don't want to use DeGrom, it sounds like. So
Day
That's
2
such
starter
an
still
odd thing
on.
to say.
What's
Like
that?
your team's already sliding,
Yeah.
and you're going to come out and publicly say we're going to save our best pitcher for absolute necessity. What is an absolute necessity?
yeah.
I thought
Well, it seems
playoffs
like
would have
DeGrom
been
the
an
last couple
absolute
of starts
necessity.
DeGrom hasn't been that good the last couple of starts. He's been getting shelled too. So
Yeah.
maybe that's why they just wanted to give him some rest and then give him NLDS 1 because they need him in the NLDS, but you can't really be thinking about the DS right now. So
And that brings us to the fun one.
dun dun dun.
I could say so many negative things about these teams. We covered the
Yeah, right.
Cardinals earlier. Like, that's really what this is to me. I mean, the Cardinals have kind of been on cruise control, so they haven't played, like, even in a playoff atmosphere game in, like, 2.5 weeks.
Yeah.
And the Phillies, I mean, we've touched on this too, really just, like, didn't want to be in the playoffs at all. They tried their damnedest not to get in, and
The Brewers just hated it more. It's like
Yeah.
that South Park episode where the kids are playing in that Little League game, and they're like, okay, all we have to do is strike this one guy out, and they were out of baseball forever. And then they win, and then they have to play in the playoffs, and so now they're having to play to lose, basically. And that's a great episode. But it kind of reminded me of that, honestly.
Now,
But-
and the flip side to that is Wheeler and Nola are combined 4-0 and have allowed 2 earned runs in 4 starts against the Cardinals this year.
I will say, though, the 2 times that you faced the Cardinals this year were before the Cardinals were a complete team, before they
Yeah.
got Quintana and they got Montgomery, which kind of helped their bullpen.
Well,
You know.
Montgomery's not even going until game 3, so if they don't win either of the first 2 games, it's not going to matter.
Yeah, for sure.
But,
Yeah, your second matchup is Milkus and Nola.
yeah, that's my only saving grace is the fact that Nola and Wheeler have just absolutely dominated the Cardinals this year. But our offense disappeared in the middle of September, so I can't say that I have a lot of faith.
But
But
Schwarber end up with 42 or 43?
45, he led the NL.
45.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna say, like, I was telling Ryan this earlier, like playoffs Harper and playoffs Schwarber, they just worry me as a Cardinals fan. Like, you never know what you're gonna get, and maybe they're gonna get just rejuvenated in the DS. And the Cardinals, like, they were kind of on cruise control most of September and all of October because they won basically halfway through this month of September. But Paul Goldschmidt hasn't had a home run since August 31st, I think.
He went all of September without a dinger? Damn.
Yeah. Arenado, he's been good, but I mean, I like our lineup. Those 2, I think they need to. I really hope that they come out because honestly, I think everyone keeps talking about how this is going to be a pitching matchup. I think honestly, it's going to be a slugfest between both teams. I think every time we talk about it's going to be a huge pitching matchup, it turns into like this biggest slugfest. I don't know why, but it just turns into that. So I'm expecting high scoring games from both teams, honestly.
I have the exact opposite feeling. I just think that the pitching is going to dominate with the way that Nola and Wheeler have pitched against the Cardinals this year and the way the Phillies offense has evaporated.
Yeah.
I think that it spells for a pitching matchup. And my prediction is either Phillies in 2 or Cardinals in 3. If it gets to game 3, I think the Phillies are cooked. I like Bailey Falter, but it doesn't even sound like he's going to start game 3. So
I thought Ranger Suarez was.
He is pitching game 3, and that scares the hell out of me. So if it goes to game 3, I think the Phillies lose. But if Nola and Wheeler can find a way to continue their success against the Cardinals, I think it'll be 2 games.
See, I kind of.
Man, do I have to go in division for hate or or across the turnpike for hate?
Yeah, right. I kind of have a similar thing. I think I have if the Cardinals win game 1, I have them winning the series in a sweep. Don't know why. But
What happens if it goes 3 low?
I kind of think if it drags on, I think the Phillies. I think if it drags on, I think the Phillies win. I don't want to say anything too much. Ryan
I'm
and
a
I are
host,
trying
and
to
I
play
like
nice
you guys
right
coming on
now.
my show, so I really can't pick a winner,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, we're playing nice. I'll save it for tomorrow.
I
Yeah,
can't really
right.
pick a winner, right? Because I like
Like-
you guys coming on my show, right? I can't show
Could-
favoritism, right?
Because Ryan and I both firmly believe in not jinxing or pissing off the baseball gods, I think. And so I'm like every time the playoffs come, I do not talk shit about anything. I just sit here quietly and do nothing.
I don't have to worry about playoffs. I don't have that problem in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Who
I
lost
mean,
in
Cleveland. Now
2000?
in Cleveland,
it's been 11 years for me. I'm just happy to be here at this point. But yeah, I agree. I'm not gonna. This is the one superstition I'm gonna avoid. Truthfully,
right.
although it would be.
I just want good baseball. That's what I really want.
Yeah.
It would be really symbolic, because 2011, we talk about it. That game essentially, although they stuck around for a couple more years, that essentially ended the dynasty of Utley, Howard, and Rollins. And it would be symbolic if the last thing that Pujols, Wainwright, and Yachty saw were the Phillies.
That would hurt.
That went.
But yeah. It's a
Oh,
great
just-
documentary on YouTube about the dynasty of the Phillies.
I've seen it several times.
Yeah. Game 5 was the end of really Howard, wasn't it?
That was the game he tore his Achilles. He was never the same. I mean,
Yeah.
Utley and Rollins were okay the couple years after, but they just aged. It was a fantastic 5-year run, and I really enjoyed it. And unfortunately, my dad looked at me during that 2008 World Series, said, "Better get a good look at this. It might not ever happen again." I went, "We're stacked for years."
Oh my gosh,
Never
they
happened
were.
again.
Oh my gosh, that pitching rotation for the longest time. Roy Oswalt, Cole Hamels, Roy Halladay, and
Cliff Lee.
Cliff Lee. Yeah.
That was dynamite.
And then Carlos Ruiz was
we
supposed
we
was
lost in 6
MVP.
games to the Giants.
Gosh. I just remember the Giants celebrating with those horrible looking orange uniforms. The one with the big gigantic G.
Yeah.
Yeah. So suck on that, Gina.
2011 was really the arrival of Bumgarner, though. He was outstanding in the playoffs.
Yeah.
He might be the best playoff pitcher that I've seen in my lifetime.
Yeah.
I mean, you think about every World Series run they went on 11, 13, and 15. Dude was masterful. I don't think he lost a game.
Well, yeah, and he played on so much short rest in 14. I mean, oh my gosh. I can't believe his arm
10,
didn't
10
fall
12,
off.
and 14. I always get it wrong. Yeah, 10, 12, and 14.
Oh man. So I'm gonna go with the Cards.
Kiss
I
ass.
have
No, I'm
to
kidding.
pick one. I have to pick one, right?
In all honesty, that doesn't even really bother me because the Phillies just haven't inspired any sort of confidence, for me to sit here and say, yeah, they'll definitely win a 3-game series against, a team that's been a playoff team for 2.5 weeks now.
I think
I
home
just
field
love-
advantage is going to be a big deal, though, especially for the Cardinals, I think, and obviously the Blue Jays, like I said. Not really the Rays because they don't have a home base.
I just always think of Tony La Russa and Lloyd McClendon just not getting along at all.
If I had to confidently say something, I'll say that Nola will definitely win his start. I mean, he has a sub-2 ERA on the road this year, and he's just been outstanding outside of Citizens Bank Park.
I do like Aaron Nola. I think it's going 3 though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is he Cy Young?
No, dear God, no.
No, you don't think?
No, 11 and 13 with a 3.28 ERA. He actually tied for the NL lead in complete game shutouts this year. You know how many he had?
2?
One.
1. Oh my gosh. It's
far
a
cry.
shame. I hate that's gone away. Really, the complete game
Absolutely
shutout.
horrible. I cringe every time I see this pitcher and this pitcher
one
and
thing
this
about-
pitcher
well,
have
not
combined
one
for a
thing,
no
but-
hitter through 6 innings. Like it's cringeworthy.
Kind of like Clayton
Yeah.
Kershaw getting taken out 75 pitches during a no hitter.
To be fair, Clayton Kershaw even
Perfect
said he was
game.
like, "Yeah, my slider had no bite, and I got no problem coming out."
Was
I
that
knew he had no problem, but still would have been nice to see.
you talking about the perfect game? Or
Yeah.
you talk,
Opening day.
was it opening day?
I
Yeah,
think it was the home opener, wasn't it, for the Dodgers?
yeah. I think he pitched opening day. It was his very first start of the season, which was somewhere in the Dodgers' first 3 games.
Yeah.
I wish Jason was here so he could tell us the truth, but I think Jason's coming on tomorrow night.
Yeah, it hurts. It hurts so bad. Like,
And what you
As
guys are doing a show tomorrow night?
yeah, tomorrow night at 11 Eastern, 10
Will
Central.
that be the Chronicles or will it be the 7th?
No, it'll be 7th.
Wasn't sure which way you were going with that one.
No,
Dude, the Colts won that game.
did they?
Did they?
Russell Wilson got picked off in the end zone near the end of regulation, and the Colts drove down and kicked a field goal.
Oh
And
my
then
gosh.
the Broncos went for it on 4th and 1 at the 5-yard line, and Russ threw an incomplete pass in overtime to lose.
Oh gosh,
Oh my God. What an embarrassment, dude.
I have some sad news.
What?
Mookie Betts went on Jimmy Kimmel tonight. Why would you do that?
Oh no. This man doesn't know anything about baseball superstitions.
Why are you doing that? He's going to go 0 for 36 in his entire series.
Yeah, he's about to have Cody Bellinger syndrome.
Mm. Oh,
I love
It's-
Cody Bellinger, but he just
it's like the Giants going to Cabo the week before a big playoff game.
Yeah,
Is
and
it
then,
the Giants?
then
Yeah.
they've won like 6 games.
Oh gosh. Oh, Mookie.
RIP Dodgers. I mean, too bad they only have 6 other MVPs in their lineup to carry the weight.
Yeah, right. I don't even think
Right.
they should even bother playing. They're gonna suck it up.
all right. We gonna you guys want to finish it or you want to come back and do round 2 after round 1?
Let's come back and do round 2 after round 1. See,
Yeah,
how
that way
we
we
can
can have
talk
a
about
clear
how
picture.
we did and how we're gonna do.
Yeah.
So I know Ryan, you got a big day at school tomorrow. A lot of classwork.
I got it. Yeah.
I'm glad you were safe from Ian. How was that? What was that like, real quick?
Dude, that was actually, I'm kind of glad that I went toward it in all honesty. So, I mean, unfortunately for the people in the Fort Myers, Tampa area, they got slammed, but it was a category 4 hurricane and it kind of just hung out in that area for a few hours and it kind of died the storm down. So by the time it hit Orlando as a Cat 1 and left Orlando as a tropical storm, but it went back over the ocean and then back into South Carolina where I normally live as a category 1 again. And obviously I trust that, Florida's infrastructure over South Carolina's. I came back and I had lost power at some point. It was obvious and all that other nonsense. But yeah, so I was right place, right time. We were very fortunate. We lost the power from like 2 to 5 a.m., but I didn't even know
So you
that.
didn't even know. You didn't even know
Yeah,
power went
totally
out till you woke
knocked out.
up.
Yeah.
If you were able to sleep, because I know whenever I got stuck down there for those, it was like a party all night because that's all you can really do.
Oh no, dude! I was out like a dead light bulb, man. There was nothing waking me up. I woke up at 8 a.m., peeked my head out the window, and was like, "Damn it! I was really hoping to get a new car. Hope a tree landed right through mine or something like that." I called my insurance company beforehand. I was like, "Hey, I'm covered if this tree right here ends up through my car, right?" And they were like, "Yeah, you're good." I was like, "Thanks."
Get
You
the
have
chainsaw
USA?
out.
No, I have a Progressive.
Why didn't you get USAA?
Because I had an accident on my record when I left my house, and it was $317 a month.
Oh my gosh.
I have USAA. I like them.
I have like some of their banking services, but not their car insurance. Hell no.
They have good house insurance. Anyway, we're not giving away free promotions. But
Yeah. What's your social? One quick thing about 62. I love Michael Kay. I love him a lot more than other announcers. But good Lord, whenever there's a big like thing, he sounds so fucking boring. Like I was talking about Joe Buck whenever Mark McGuire hit 62. Michael Kay whenever Aaron Judge hit 62. He just sounded so like I don't know, like
Wait,
flatlined.
that's the Yankees announcer, right?
Yeah, Michael Kay.
Yeah.
I didn't hear 62, but I heard 61, and it was very dry. It was just like, there it is, 62. And he just like pushed his seat back and was just like, he tried to be like Vince Scully whenever Gibson hit that home run and just let it play out.
It's just so boring the way he did it. And so that's disappointing
I think all
me.
Yankees announcers are very boring, but that's just me.
You know, a lot of people get on Joe Buck as an announcer, but you think about all the events that he covers. Like Joe Buck represents all the important sporting events. You know, he covers the World Series, covers he does NFC championship game and all that. Yeah, he does all the important sporting events. So
I know
I was there when he got inducted into the Football Hall of Fame.
Right.
Got inducted with Cowher and Jimmy Johnson and Troy Polamalu, Mel Blount, Isaac Bruce. Or I'm sorry, Torrey Holt. I'm sorry, not Isaac. Wait, I don't know.
No, it was Bruce. It was Bruce.
Let me look.
I like Joe Buck. He's one of my favorites.
I don't really have much of a gripe with Joe Buck. I mean, I think it's kind of hard to hate play-by-play guys. Like, to me, the color commentators are easier to hate because either they're just spewing a bunch of crap or they actually know what they're talking about. But
I don't even know who Joe Buck's new sidekick is on ESPN. I guess I'll find out tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's not here. It's not. I'm really glad because I hated Harold Reynolds and John Smoltz as his sidekicks.
Man,
I thought they would be better than Tim McCarver, and it kind of made me miss.
That's what I was going to ask him.
I was so hopeful that John Smoltz was going to be a good announcer, and he just wasn't.
Yeah. What was that?
Is this going to be? Excuse me. Is this going to be in your area televised, or is it national?
It's national. It's on the Cardinal game. Cardinals and Phillies are the ESPN ABC.
So does that kill your listening because it's not going to be with your regular announcers?
Not really.
No, I tune them out most of the time anyway. Call my own play-by-play in my head.
I like Dan McLaughlin and I hate Brad Thompson. Brad Thompson is a color commentator for the Cardinals. He's really great on ESPN, but I call him the caricature of the baseball version of John Madden. Like whenever John Madden used to say just stupid shit.
Yeah.
And like
boom, tough acting connected.
Like Brad Thompson would say, "Oh, you need to score a run because if you score a run, that increases your chances of winning."
I hate when they say stuff like that. Like, no shit, man.
Mr. Obvious.
Well, like Dan McLaughlin would say the same thing, and then Brad Thompson would say the exact same thing that Dan McLaughlin just said, but dumber, and it was just not worth it. So I mean, I like hearing John Buck. I even like the TBS guy whose name escapes me, who usually does basketball. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I forgot him. I love him too. I like him better at basketball, but.
It should be a good
Ernie Johnson.
It should be some good series. Do we want to do an early World Series prediction before I sign off? I gotta get off of here.
It's up to you, or we can wait. And we could do round 2 and just move on from there.
No,
I'm gonna predict Houston, and I'm not gonna say why or anything like that. I'm just gonna predict Houston wins the World Series.
My prediction, I don't even know. it may sound homerish, but I've been saying this since August 2nd. So, St. Louis Cardinals.
I couldn't.
know,
I couldn't have
if-
predicted that one, Logan.
If
You can what?
If the Phillies
couldn't have
lose to
predicted
the
that one.
Cardinals in the first round and they win the World Series again, God, that's going to piss me off more than anything.
Oh man, I don't know why. I just like these Dodgers. Just because they cooled off now, like you cooled off at the right time, doesn't mean you can't get hot and boiling again.
If the Dodgers didn't have 10 years of choking,
And Mookie Betts might have just ruined it, but anyway.
I mean, they also have a billion years of playoff experience combined on that roster. Like,
they do. And I love Trey Turner and Freddie Freeman and Mookie Betts, but
I think maybe that's why Freddie
I think-
Freeman. I
I
like
think they
Freddie
had a-
Freeman.
they had a lot of pitchers who got hurt too. I think Dustin May got hurt, and anyways,
I know Urias missed some time too, but I think he's back.
Yeah,
It'd
I
be
think-
funny if we seen the Dodgers and the Braves going at it for the in the championship game, and it was
no,
like
wouldn't.
Freddie Freeman's revenge.
I don't know if it'd be his revenge. Maybe the Braves' revenge. Anyways, I'm gonna go too because I gotta go to bed. I'm tired.
Yeah, it's past midnight here, so I'm going to.
Yeah. Well, thank you, boys, for stopping by. We will definitely get our next round of predictions, and I cannot wait to hear you two bickering tomorrow night.
I don't think we'll bicker too much. Maybe Josh is gonna probably poke at you a little bit.
Well, if the Phillies win, I'll shut them up real quick.
There you go. There you go. See, it's already started.
I just want good baseball, man.
That's
It's just a
kind of where
game.
I'm at too. You
Is there
know,
going to be a
Like,
link for this to watch?
Yeah, we'll post it all over VSN. We'll go on YouTube. We're probably going to go live. I mean, we'll go
We're
live
looking
about
to go
10
live.
o'clock Central. So we'll
Sounds
review
good,
all
guys.
the
Can't
games
wait.
that happened that day.
Ryan, help people get a hold of you, and you can get out of here.
at Ryan BSing Sports is my Twitter handle. It's also right down there. For those of you, I guess I should do this. For those of you that cannot read that, it's right there. Anywhere on the BSing Sports Network, we are, we're just kind of hanging out. We had a live show every single day this week, and we have another one tomorrow. So it's been an exhausting week. I'll have 7 shows in 5 days.
I love those kind of weeks, man. I love those weeks.
It makes the time fly by, honestly. But yeah,
does.
at Ryan BSing Sports on Twitter is the easiest way to reach out to me. And if you check out our website, www.bsingsports.com, you can find all of our socials and all of our previous shows.
Thank you for stopping by, and good luck in school tomorrow.
Yep, we'll be in touch.
All right,
Take
Ryan,
it
take
easy,
it easy,
Logan.
man.
See you, Ryan.
Mr. Pipe Man, how you doing? How do
Good.
people get a hold of you?
You can find me at the golf club, Bushwood, where I'll be playing squash and smoking in the cigar lounge. No, you can find me on VSN every Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays on the the Cardinals Chronicles on Wednesdays and Seventh Inning Stretch on Mondays and Fridays. Tomorrow we have a big episode. I think on Monday we're going to go live again, probably with Ryan again, talking about the series recap. And then after that, we're going to be doing probably daily shows talking about reviewing each game, recapping each game, and seeing where we're at. So, yeah. Be sure to watch the Variety Sports podcast on another network.
You're allowed. I host this one, so I always let everyone get their plugs in, man. I like sharing the wealth, man. Grow.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Well, hey, Logan, thank you for stopping by. And I'll listen to you guys tomorrow night.
Yeah. Peace out, motherfuckers.
There it is. All right, buddy. All right, guys. Well, that was round 1. There were predictions for the World Series, and I am Talking Sports It on Twitter, and you can see all our plugs at the end of the exit video.